As a small business CFO, I talk to a lot of small business owners, and almost what I hear across the board is that people are not very satisfied with the relationship they have with their CPA. And I hear it time and time again where people are just like, hey, I hired the CPA. I thought I was going to get something else. I'm not really getting it. And there ends up just being like frustration and dissatisfaction and just tension between the business owner and the CPA. And today I wanted to talk about why maybe this is happening and hopefully help you so that you can find really the solution that you need and also help sort of diffuse the relationship between you and your CPA. Okay, so if that's helpful, please stay tuned. If you don't know who I am, my name is Smolinski. I am a fractional CFO and the founder of Clara CFO Group. We are a fractional CFO agency and we help small business owners that are trying to grow organically and do it in a sustainable and profitable way. All right, so I'm going to set up this scenario for you because I think this is what happens a lot of times. So the scenario is a small business owner hires a CPA thinking, okay, great. I had a bookkeeper and I'm hiring this person to do my taxes and to also help me. They will be kind of like the financial expert. I've brought in financial expertise onto the team. And so they kind of give themselves a pat on the back and they say, yay, now I have a CPA. So I kind of have somebody in my financial corner, right? And then they go and they agree with the CPA and they sign paperwork that agrees to the services that the CPA will render. And then they go about their business and they run their business and they might have some questions about their financials and they send them over to the CPA thinking, okay, I've got this person in my corner now. And then maybe they don't hear back from the CPA. Or then they go and ask the CPA a question that is more forward looking, like, should I hire this person? Can I afford it? And then the CPA is like, hey, that's not really what we do here. So what happens oftentimes is there ends up being from the very beginning of the relationship, a misalignment between what the CPA is really offering and what they are engaged to do and what the business owner thinks they signed up for. Okay, so if you actually go and read the paperwork of the engagement letter that you signed with your CPA, what you might find is that all you've engaged the CPA to do is to do compliance work for you, which is really to file a tax return, maybe tell you what your estimated tax payments might be, and maybe they're filing a state return or doing something for payroll for you. But oftentimes find is that there's not any kind of advisory services in your tax engagement. Okay. And if there is any kind of advisory service, it might just be a one-time tax planning conversation that happens at the end of the year. So CPAs are not often offering services that are kind of the ongoing business advisory services. Now, you might have a CPA that maybe will answer your phone call and help you answer a question here and there, but they're certainly not going to be actively and proactively helping you and advising you in your business unless you very specifically engage them to do so. Okay, so if you have been dissatisfied between what you thought you were bringing your CPA on to do and then what you're actually getting from them, I encourage you to go back and look at that original engagement letter that you signed with your CPA, because that will be very explicit on what you're hiring them to do. And it might be that they do have some kind of open, hey, you can call us for a certain amount per hour, and maybe you get billed additionally on when you bring a question to them. But I just still, even if they offer that service, what oftentimes happens is that a business owner will reach out and then a CPA may eventually get back to them. But I want to tell you guys something about how most CPA firms are set up. So most tax CPA firms are really set up to operate on volume and volume of processing and preparing tax returns. They are not set up very well. Most of them, there are a few exceptions out there, I will say that, but most of them are set up in, hey, we're going to get through all of this stuff as fast as possible. And we're going to, not saying they're not going to do a quality job, but the idea of stopping and taking a phone call or digging into your financial situation, helping give you a very specific answer to a forward-looking situation or, stopping and looking at your financials to tell you whether or not you can afford something is really not in the scope of how their firm operates. I think it's unfair too to ask a company that is not in charge of your forward-looking projections to answer a question like, what should I do here? Should I hire this person? Should I open up this second business line? What should I do, X, Y, or Z? Like when you're asking a forward-looking question, a CPA is really focused on the past. When we are in 2026, they are still preparing 2025 tax returns. They are actually not the best people to be approaching when you have a forward-looking question. Okay. So again, misalignment of expectations. And so what you might be actually searching for when you're kind of craving that business advisor, you're craving somebody that you can get clarity with on what is the best next step for you with the financials in your business, that position you're actually looking for might be a CFO. Okay. So a CFO is going to be somebody who does partner alongside of you and understand your business every step of the way. So they are, doing monthly meetings with you. They might even be doing weekly meetings with you so that they are really intertwined with your business and they understand what's going on. And they're going to be maintaining and controlling a forward-looking forecast so that they can help you with decision support. Okay. So really that is a full role in and of itself. Your tax CPA is not maintaining a cash flow forecast for you. They are not maintaining a forward-looking 12-month financial profit and loss forecast for you, unless you have specifically engaged them to do so, which is very, very, very rare. I want to just make sure it's really clear. You might be really hoping your CPA is acting like a CFO, but the truth is they probably aren't, because that is not what they are engaged to do. Okay, so I highly encourage you to go back, assess your relationship with your CPA. Are they doing what you've actually engaged for them to do? And if they aren't doing it, hold them accountable and say, hey, the engagement letter says this, I'm not getting this service. What can we do to remedy it? But more likely than not, you're going to go back to that engagement letter and you're going to say, actually, yeah, they've only been engaged to do my tax returns and I'm expecting too much of them. So if you find yourself in that position and you do need CFO support, you can absolutely reach out to us. You can go to claracfo.com and go to our CFO services page and book a discovery call. And I'd be happy to talk with you and to see if it's the right fit. But overall, I don't want you to totally hate on the CPAs because they are doing the hard work of getting those tax returns done. But we do want to just make sure that expectations are set and that we understand everybody's role here. All right. Well, I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for being here, and make sure you like this video with a thumbs up if it was helpful. All right. Bye, everybody.